Okay. We'll start off where some things you mentioned on football season. One of those is the digital network. How is that going? Because football is once a week. You got soccer, volleyball, but now comes crossover period for at least 3 months. That's something going on every day. How is that all working out? And
well, first of all, it's hard to believe that we're having basketball media day because it just doesn't seem like it should be here yet. But we're excited for that. I think the digital network has been a work in progress. One of the great things about it is students on campus can get experience producing some of our events. But at the same time, we have different levels of production on each place. Some people are really good at it and farther advanced, and other people are just kind of getting up to speed. And so we tried to be patient. I think when you go on the CUSA TV, sometimes as a fan you're not sure what you're going to get because it depends on where the event is. So we're trying to bring everybody up to a certain standard and then keep going from there. But you're right, we're getting ready to have like an event every night, and so that's taxing on our institutions and the number of people they can get to provide to do that work. So we're going to keep working on it.
Okay. I don't know whether I'm getting technical about it, but you had mentioned some schools being prepared for every night. The one thing that I remember from my classroom, you can lose audios. That's not a problem. Never lose videos.
Maybe we ought to get you out on our campuses and teach our people.
Because when you lose audio, that's not an issue because you still have sight. Sound, you just to figure it out. You had mentioned that programs now was starting to being forced to readjust to where not just only campus, region wide. Now they're having to expand out to, if it's Marshall and UTEP, now you got to get a signal all the way back to El Paso, and it's got to be constant. And same from El Paso to Marshall. How is that working out with the schools now? Are they accepting their roles and all into contributing to this being a CUSA's brand being a better brand and becoming a national?
That's a lot that you just asked me right there. Again, I think that our schools have bought into it and they agree with what we're trying to do. The practical part of getting everyone up to speed at the same level is taking a little bit of time. But the really technical questions you probably need to ask our guys over in
Well, you pretty much answered that.
Okay.
And you answered it shortly, but you answered it.
Coach, all right. I'm used to talking
I
to
was
coaches
a long
all
time
day.
ago. It's okay. I've been called worse.
Exactly. Commissioner, the development of this network, what have been the reactions that you've heard from students, from those on campus, like you mentioned, to production? Because this is new. I think schools are growing with the conference and the conference is growing with the schools. What has been so far the reaction, whether it be football and now you have a test with basketball? I think you may have a little bit better luck in basketball since some of the schools did their own networks last year, like MTSU has MT10. Right. So what has been the reviews so far of CUSA TV in football season from students and those on campus and those
that are able to contribute to it and
right.
get experience?
Right.
It's been very favorable. And I think depending on what, some schools have a lot more educational programs that relate to it than others. And so they're kind of ahead of the curve of getting students to work because they want to do that, and that's the career they want to go into.
Is Middle Tennessee one of those?
Yes, they've done a great job.
From a basketball standpoint, how much did, I cover Middle Tennessee, how much did their tournament upset over Michigan State? And not only people forget that they won the conference tournament itself, but they won the conference tournament. How much did that upset over Michigan State bring attention to this conference as far as basketball-wise?
I think we got a tremendous amount of attention there, and the year before UAB upset Iowa State.
Right.
And so those kind of things, I've heard our coaches talk about it the last day or so. I guess it's just a day. But, we've proven we can win in March. Now we've got to take some steps and win some non-conference games early against some quality opponents.
Coach Davis said that when teams like Memphis left, this conference was really trying to find itself to rebuild. He feels like it's almost at that point. You as commissioner, do you see it almost back at that point, even with the Memphis gone?
Yeah, I think a number of our teams have gotten stronger, and but like I said again, until we win some non-conference games early, and that'll help us and help the publicity during the year, as far in addition to helping our RPIs across the league. So it's going to take everybody. The teams at the bottom need to get better, but I've seen a lot of improvement and a lot of hope and optimism there.
How has the landscape helped? The digital network. How has it helped the landscape of the conference, as far as not just the individual school's brand, but the conference brand overall? Because this is something new for everybody, especially in this conference, because a lot of teams hadn't thought beyond just that's their particular region.
Right, and a lot of things. When we had a game on Twitter, that was big for us. I think part of it is still educating people which programs are in Conference USA now. And so all of this is helping tremendously in that.
We're reaching a month where Middle Tennessee said, they'd have to do some belt tightening as far as budgets go. Has the conference had to do it, belt tightening itself as far as budgets recently, and how is that all going?
Yeah, we did. When we put in our budget for this fiscal year that we're currently in, we cut a couple of positions. We repurposed a couple of positions. We now have a chief revenue officer on staff, and his entire job is to sell sponsorships. That's it. And so we're looking at whatever ways that we can increase our revenue through different avenues.
How does this digital network fit into that? Is it just direct money to the conference?
It is. It goes right back to the schools. Whatever comes in goes to the schools. And so if we can continue to build subscriptions there, that'll help as well.
Well, with that, then I'm going to ask this question. The next thing up, everybody's is your TV network partners. How are they adjusting to what's going on around them? Because when you mention digital network, individual digital network, there's a light bulb that goes on both sides of the table, but hopefully it's a green light and not a yellow or red.
Yeah, there's not a day that there's not an article written about cord cutting or whatever the changes in how people consume their content. And so we're just trying to stay on top of that, as well as our TV partners are. We've been really happy with all four of them. I think really pleasantly surprised with BN and their production capabilities and what they've done in social media and over the air. And so we kind of feel like we're growing with them as well.
Is it, are you guys, you tinkered with Twitter, broadcasting a game on Twitter with MTSU at North Texas. I think the NFL did that this year with Thursday Night Football. Are you guys just trying to try new things as the technology becomes more available? You have the digital network, which is obviously established, but these games on Twitter and now reaching out with being their first football outlet. Is just sort of as a commissioner, you guys are trying new stuff. Does that make you excited, uneasy? How does that make you?
I think we're in a position where we can take some risks and try some new things. The game on Twitter was through Campus Insiders, and so they're continuing to build their relationships as well. And when we get to that next go-around, it'd be a question of, do we go straight to those kind of things, or do we go through someone else? And obviously we'll have to work through all those, but everything's changing so rapidly that really we want to try what we can and see what's effective.
with that being said, then how much would the mobile digital networks, how are they stepping into on the cable connected regular TV that's how much is that a crossover, or is it overstepping bounds on either one, or somebody? How are they adjusting on that part?
You know, I don't think they've figured it all out yet. And so when I mentioned Campus Insiders, they have a Verizon deal, and then they did the Twitter. But AT&T may go direct and do some things. So I think it's a combination probably right now. And I'm not sure anyone can predict where it's heading.
You know, as beat writers, you know, in the summer we always have to find stories, and conference expansion was one of them. That talk seemed to have died down, maybe because we're all busy covering football. But you know, how was that conversation? Has it died down at a conference level as well, or are you still picking up phones, talking to?
Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to die down completely.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Big 12 has their board meeting next week, and so that'll do a lot towards figuring out what all might happen.
Oh, would you say? Oh, are you guys watching that very closely?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we'll be affected directly from the Big 12 if they expand, but we certainly could have movement after that.
Right.
Wow.
Or at least speculation after that.
Yeah, okay. All right, then. Well, let me ask this question then. How much is that affecting the way every conference, not just particular Conference USA, everyone now is looking at their contracts down the road? You all have a couple of years on yours. I think Conference Big 12 is like 3-4 years down the road. Everybody's either re-upping, expanding, extension, but there's still a question mark with how long you want that to want to stay with that particular partner, or the partner's helping you out and saying, okay, we'll give on this if you can give on that. Is it always a give and take, or where is it right now? I know I'm asking a lot.
Sure, I understand the question.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, the TV contracts now that are coming up for either extension or rebid.
Okay.
Is it more of a give and take? You know, we'll give on this if you can give us that, and we'll accept mobile partners on this part of it. We'll outlay the third party on this if that's okay with you, but on certain games or certain teams in the particular conference, we want that one on our network that particular day.
Yeah, you know, we have an order of who picks first, who picks next, next. And so we rarely, when we do an overall deal, we rarely get into talk about a single institution or certain games. It's more just the package, and then they pick throughout the order. So, you know, all of the contracts have clauses in them about realignment, where we might have to go back to the table if something happens. But other than that, it's more of a package deal.
The fact that, and I'm not mentioning any names, but
Okay.
the fact that conference schools may have reached out to other conferences concerning a possible realignment or expansion, as a commissioner of this conference, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, the one thing that we ask from our schools is that they be open and honest with us. I don't think we can get into a vindictive, behind the back kind of thing, because it's not healthy for anyone. So we've asked that when you're in Conference USA, you support Conference USA, you're respectful of that, and we try to build it, because no one knows what the future is. I do understand from having been an AD that when you're on campus, you need to do what's best for your school. And so you need to explore options, but you also need to get your own program the best it can be, and then those things may take care of themselves.
Is it?
That's it.
Thank you. Thank you.